From Washington, this is VOA News. A policewoman is shot by gunmen near Paris and dies. Meanwhile, French police arrest 7 in the search for the Charlie Hebdo shooters. I'm Francis Alonzo reporting from Washington. Media reports say a policewoman who was shot by gunmen wearing a bulletproof vest just outside Paris has died, and a second victim is in serious condition, according to police Thursday. The television station ITELE said 2 police officers were lying on the ground after that attack. The man escaped after the attack Thursday morning, which comes a day after a deadly Islamist assault on the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo that left 12 dead, although no link has yet to be established between the two.
Nous faisons face à une menace terroriste sans précédent, et elle est à la fois.
That is French Prime Minister Manuel Valls. He says 7 people have been arrested in the search for 2 suspects in Wednesday's shooting spree that left 12 people dead at the Paris headquarters of the Charlie Hebdo satirical magazine. In an interview on RTL radio, as we just heard, he said that preventing a second attack is the government's main concern. Meanwhile, one person, 18-year-old Mayed Murad, surrendered to authorities late Wednesday. Police are searching for brothers Saeed and Sharif Kouchi. Both men are Paris residents in their 30s. French authorities say they are armed and dangerous. South Sudan's information minister has criticized a U.S. State Department travel warning about his country. The advisory was issued Wednesday and warns U.S. citizens against travel to South Sudan, saying South Sudan's government has limited capacity to deter crime or provide security to travelers, particularly outside Juba. It also talked about the high risk of violent crime in Juba. This is VOA News. Indonesian authorities are stepping up efforts to lift the tail structure of Air Asia Flight 8501, which crashed in the Java Sea on December 28th. Elite Indonesian military divers battled strong currents Thursday to search the wreckage for the voice and flight data recorders that could reveal why the plane crashed. The tail section of the plane was located on Wednesday on the seabed, about 30 kilometers from the plane's last known location at a depth of around 28 to 32 meters. The Air Asia Flight 8501 vanished from radar screens over the northern Java Sea, less than halfway in a 2-hour flight from Indonesia's second biggest city of Surabaya to Singapore. The new UN official in the fight against Ebola says he worries that successes in treating the deadly disease may provoke a degree of complacency. During his first official trip to Liberia, the head of the United Nations Mission for Ebola Emergency Response told reporters in the Liberian capital Monrovia he has a mixed reaction on Liberia's progress in the fight against Ebola. The director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, James Comey, says hackers who attacked Sony Pictures in November were sloppy, posting directed from a server used exclusively by North Korea.
The Guardians of Peace would send emails threatening Sony employees and would post online various statements explaining their work. In nearly every case, they used proxy servers to disguise where they were coming from in sending those emails and in pasting and posting those statements. But several times they got sloppy, right? Several times, either because they forgot or they had a technical problem, they connected directly, and we could see them. And we could see that the IP addresses that were being used to post and to send the emails were coming from IPs that were exclusively used by the North Koreans.
Meanwhile, Pyongyang has denied involvement but did praise the cyber attack. Millions of Sri Lankans are voting in an unexpectedly close election that pits President Mahinda Rajapaksa against one of his former allies. Mr. Rajapaksa, in office since 2005, called the election 2 years early, and analysts predicted an easy win. Although his popularity has waned, Mr. Rajapaksa was confident that the fractured opposition would fail to find a credible challenger. An anti-terrorist court in Pakistan Wednesday condemned to death a man convicted of abducting a U.S. citizen. Hafiz Imran was charged with the kidnapping of Warren Weinstein. He's an American aid worker seized by armed men from his home in Lahore in 2011. He is still missing. I'm Francis Alonzo in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.